right. Hey, friends. Welcome to the Johnson City Living Podcast, where we about the people, places, events, and flavors that make Johnson City such a lovely place to live. It's a beautiful springish coming into summer day here in Johnson City. I am with a longtime friend of mine, Lisa Forbes, who is a campus minister at ETSU for InterVarsity. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I'm glad I didn't screw that up.
You're doing great.
So, first of all, because this is Johnson City Living, what is the best thing about Johnson City in your mind? What do you love about Johnson City?
The best thing in my mind is it's a family place that's growing into a big city, small town. It's like there's things to do here that sort of has a flavor of big city, but it's also a small town where you
Yeah,
can feel that you know people and
right. It's kind of like Cheers, where everybody knows your name, but
yes,
not quite like Cheers.
exactly. Not that everybody necessarily knows your business, but they know
Right.
your name.
They know
So
your name.
yeah,
Yes, I love it because you'll go to the grocery store and I'll
yep,
maybe see Lisa over in the
right,
produce
yep,
section and I'll be like, "What's up?" And
yep,
then like we'll go out to dinner and Carly and I'll see people we know frequently. And so
yes.
it does feel like a big kind of big family. And I get that the big city part too because you see it growing as well.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been here all my life, and so it definitely has been a big change from my formative years, I suppose, my little when I was a little tyke,
So you
but
grew up in Johnson City.
grew up in Johnson City.
Okay.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about that.
My parents were from here originally. They moved to Nashville, for my dad's job, and then, after my sister and I were born, they decided to come back to Johnson City, so I've been here ever since, except for a little semester in Orlando, Florida, where I worked at Disney World, worked for Mickey Mouse.
Nice.
Yep, and that was really fun. That job was really interesting because I had to sell those ice cream bars,
Oh,
and there was a lawsuit that had happened right before that, where somebody burnt themselves from a coffee, so that was when
oh yeah, I remember
it
that.
started for us to have to say
These are
to
very cold.
yes, "These are very cold and hard and may stick to your lips."
Oh,
That was my
wow.
line after every
Wow.
single ice cream bar I sold for 2 months.
Here's your Mickey Mouse $5 ice cream bar that
Yes,
could
that could rip your lips off
could
or break a
potentially
tooth.
like I've never seen that happen.
Correct.
And why did you choose to not stay working for Mickey Mouse?
Well, I love Johnson City, so I wanted to come back home.
So you were homesick
Mhm.
basically, and you
Yep.
were sick of telling people their lips might
And I
fall
was sick
freeze
of
off.
telling people about their lips ripping off. Yep. No, I it was a college it was a co-op through
Okay.
ETSU, and
So you went to
I
ETSU.
did.
That's East Tennessee State University for
Yes.
people who are not
They're not
in
from
Johnson
here.
City. Yes.
Correct.
And how when did you graduate there?
I graduated in, oh gosh, that was a long time ago, 89, and then I
Nice.
got my master's after that, short time after that,
And what did you
and
get your undergrad in?
I got my undergrad in sociology with a minor in criminal justice and psychology.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That and a dollar will get you a cup of coffee.
And
And
then you went and got your master's in.
in school counseling.
Really?
Mhm.
Now, did you put that to work for a while before getting into?
Sort of, but not with a school. I mean, I feel like I used my skills that I got to in ministry,
Okay.
but didn't ever get a master's level paying school counseling job
Oh,
per se. By
well,
the time I was halfway through with that program, I decided I didn't think that was for me. So,
gotcha. We
but
were
finished it anyway.
Carly and I were talking about that yesterday, like how she had different guidance counselors saying this is a good career for you, and
Mhm.
so she just kind of followed what they said,
Yeah,
and she went and got an audiology degree, and
right.
she was like, I don't love this, and so anyway,
Yep.
so tell me about your career track. So you get out of school, you got a master's. What are you going to do then?
So I kind of stumbled into several jobs. And I would say even stumbled into ministry. My youth director when I was in high school told me that if I wanted to stay involved in the youth program, I had to be a volunteer because after high school, he didn't want me just hanging around the youth group as a college age student. So I said, well, I guess I'll be a volunteer because that's where my friends were.
Yeah.
And it wasn't I would love to say
Which
it was
church was this?
First Presbyterian.
Okay.
And I would love to say it was a big spiritual epiphany that I had, but originally that was not the case.
Hmm.
I decided to do that because I could still go on the trips and be a part of the youth group, and that's where my friends were. But that was also, I feel like the Lord was kind of working things out in that, even though I didn't know that at the time.
Gotcha. Now, when when did you get saved, or when were you converted
Yeah, I
to
feel
Christianity?
like my salvation story is a little bit different than some people's, but I grew up in the church. I do remember accepting Christ when I was a young kid, 6 years
Mhm.
old, VBS, heard the story of
Yeah,
God's knocking on the door of your heart. And I
it's
was like, I,
VBS season right now. I see signs
yes,
up everywhere. So send your
yes. And
kid to
I send your
VBS.
kid to VBS. I would highly promote that. And
Yeah.
I did that. And I grew up in the church after that more because my mom said, "You're going to church. You don't have a choice." That whole get up Sunday morning, Sunday night,
That's right.
Wednesday night. But then I feel like when I really started developing a relationship with the Lord
Mm,
was when that youth director, his name's Ted, when he started talking about what a relationship with Jesus looked like.
mm,
And it was more than just go to church, do the right things, don't do the wrong things.
yeah.
And so that was sort of a really slow evolution, I guess.
Hmm.
But when I was in Orlando in college, I remember thinking my life is not going the way that I think it should, in the way that I think the Lord wants for me to. So I kind of made a decision coming home from Orlando that I was going to kind of be different, do different things. And at the same time, that same youth director had set me up with an internship to work for the church.
Okay.
So I feel like that, I mean, a lot of things saved my life, but that really was what kind of drew me back into a relationship with Jesus. And the rest of my college career looked very different than the first part, because the first part was party, 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 go to church on the
Right.
weekends.
Like ask for forgiveness for all the
Yes,
party, party, party.
right. And then after that, it was okay, this relationship with Jesus is really where it's at.
Yeah.
Kind of felt more of the sold out.
Right. Like every day, all the time,
Yes.
always chatting with him. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so
Did,
Ted is a big instrumental part of your life, it sounds
definitely
like.
one of them. Yep.
We'll give Ted a shout out. Thanks,
Yep.
Ted.
Holler, Ted.
Hopefully, Ted's listening somewhere. Yeah. And then, so you're a volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't pay very well
Mm-mm.
at First Pres. And then where do we go from there?
Yeah. So I graduated from college while I was the youth intern
Hmm.
and was volunteering for the youth group. And then I had several jobs throughout the course. I'm old. So I'm older than you, Colin.
Whatever.
So I
You say you're old all the time, but you've got the youngest spirit of anybody that I know, really.
there you go.
Like
Keep
you just,
telling me that.
you
Yep.
do. I mean, like you are always joyful. I mean, and I was reading this morning and it said, I'll pull it up while you're talking, but
Okay.
it was like, I want my whole soul to rejoice, or my whole being to
Mm,
rejoice, is what it was saying.
that's beautiful.
It was, I've set the Lord always before me, because he is at my right hand. I shall not be shaken. Therefore, my heart is glad and my whole being rejoices. My flesh also dwells secure. That was Psalm 16, 8 through 9 this morning that I was
That's
reading. And
beautiful.
yeah, I wanted my whole being to rejoice. I mean, how cool is that? And so
Yeah.
I feel like that when I'm around you. You're just rejoicing all the time.
That's really sweet.
Well,
I'll
I
pay you
love you.
later.
Yeah, thanks.
So I was volunteering for the youth program, working at a job for the state.
Hmm.
Um, and a guy named David Haskins came along and said, "Hey, I think you should volunteer for Young Life." And I responded with, "I don't really have time. I'm doing too many other things." And he asked me a couple of times. And so I got involved with Young Life and wanted to quit after the first year because I just didn't get the mission of that ministry right
Mm.
away. It didn't click with me. I'm slow. I'm really slow. Like I've said before, Ted talked me into being a volunteer. David talked me into doing Young Life. And so I told him at the end of the year I was going to quit. And he said, "I tell you what, just go to camp," because he really needed a female
Hmm.
camp counselor, not because I don't know what he saw, what he didn't, but and he said, "If you don't see the vision with Young Life by then, you can quit at the end of the semester." So I reluctantly went to camp, changed my whole life, my outlook with ministry and what the Lord really had called for me to do. So did Young Life for a long time and had some jobs in between. Did the
Hmm.
volunteer gig,
Hmm.
and basically I was working wherever I was working to make me available to do ministry with high school kids.
Gotcha. And so how long were you with Young Life?
20-ish years or 21.
20?
Yeah.
Just a couple.
Yeah.
So
I'm
you-
only 25. I started when I was 4.
it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's why you're advanced.
Right.
And then so you're not with Young Life currently.
Correct.
We had Will Odom Wody on
Yep.
the podcast a few weeks ago, and so I love Young Life. They do a great job.
They do
Anyway,
a great job.
so but you decided to step into something new from Young Life. It sounds like.
Yes.
Tell me about how that opportunity came about.
Well, I had it's kind of a long story, but the succinct version is I had a friend probably 10 years before this happened with me. Her name's Allison, that went on staff with InterVarsity. And she's actually still working for InterVarsity with Greek students. And she was a Greek student too, and I was not Greek, so didn't really understand the Greek life, but really fell in love with what she was doing because when you look at statistics of Greek students, there's about 60% of Greek students that are judges, lawyers, Supreme Court justices, big people, presidents, people that are shaping
That's
the
an
country.
interesting statistic.
It's a rounded statistic. It may fit somewhere between 55 and 60, I think, at last count.
Or in
But there's-
positions that kind of help make law and
right,
direct the
legislators.
country. And
But there are about less than 3% or 2% of the United States is Greek.
Hmm.
So when you think about that, it's like the Greek students are going to be shaping our future in the country. Do you want those people to know the Lord, or do you want them, so I really got excited about what she was doing, but never wanted to do it myself. I just wanted to help her, kind of be an advocate for her.
mm-hmm.
Then about 9 years after she went on staff, I started getting a feeling that God was moving me towards a different ministry besides high school ministry, so maybe college ministry. But I was like, how does that fit in Johnson
Were you just
City?
getting tired of high school kids? Really?
Well, I was just getting, my car was older than they were. So I felt like it was maybe time to
maybe
just
time.
not
The
quite
tracker
as cool as I was. Yeah, the tracker
wasn't quite tracking with the high schoolers.
not tracking. It wasn't
Gotcha,
exciting
so
anymore. So
go for people who are older.
yeah,
match my car up. with
that's
somebody.
right.
There you go.
Which I still have the tracker, and it's still older now than college students. So I don't know. Maybe I need to go work
What
with
year is the
40-year-olds.
tracker?
It's a 97.
97. So yeah, if you don't know Lisa Forbes, she rode around in a tracker for a long
did.
time, but she just bought a Jeep.
Yes, a couple years ago.
Couple years ago. Yeah.
But the tracker is still in the family. I
Still
can't get rid
tracking.
of it. Yep, still tracking.
I like
Anyway,
it.
sorry, that was a diversion. So Allison had connected me in 2011 with this guy named Eric, who was trying to get InterVarsity started again at ETSU. It had been here, but it had dissipated in the 90s, I guess, 80s, 90s. And I was trying to connect with him just to pray with him and connect him with people in Johnson City and help him do that, but never thought about going on ministry. And we just never could connect when he was in town. So a year and a half later was when God was saying, "Hey, college ministry, Lisa." I'm like, "No, that doesn't sound like me." So trying to figure out what my next steps were, never thought about changing jobs as a result of college ministry. And then it was just, what about this job at ETSU with InterVarsity? So long story short, I connected with Eric, went through the hiring process, and 8 months later, I was on staff. So
just took them 8 months.
Just 8 months.
No
yeah.
problem.
Yeah. It's a process.
They kind of go through. They want to make sure that you are a pretty solid individual.
Loose cannon. Yep.
Got it. Scott Caldwell may have given you a few, he may have said some things that they needed to look
against me. Who
look
knows?
into. We don't know.
She's good, but
last couple of years.
no.
That's funny. So InterVarsity is a campus ministry, and you're focused on ETSU, but it is it's global, right?
Yes, it's global. It's national, global. We're in over 600 campuses nationwide. I'm not sure what the current statistic is worldwide.
But we're out there.
Yeah, we're out there.
Nice.
That's right. And we're trying to grow.
Good.
So I started at ETSU. That was in 2014, 13, 14 was my, basically, I know it's been a while.
That's crazy. That was like 7 years ago.
I know. It's crazy.
Felt like yesterday we were talking about
That's right. And a couple of 3 years ago, I think, Two friends, one who was a student, and the other who's a friend of mine, around my age, both felt a call that the Lord was calling them on staff. So they came on staff. And now we have InterVarsity at ETSU, Northeast State, Blountville, some Northeast State campuses, satellite, and trying to do some out of the box work with students who are in gap years.
Gotcha.
Especially this year, as we know.
Do we just call last year a gap year?
That was just a gap year.
Just a gap year.
It was a dream
You,
for some, a nightmare for others.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. We did the best we could.
We did the best we could. That's right.
So tell me about kind of role. What do you do with the kids? How do you engage kids in ATSU?
Yeah.
Like on a regular basis? Like, what does it look like?
Well,
if you're a student listening and you want to connect with Lisa Forbes, and this is what you would be doing.
Yeah.
With her.
Previous to 2020, we talk about before and and during
previous
2020. Previous to 2020, we would do things that would draw students to a table, maybe, and introduce ourselves and
like have coffee with them. Hang out, eat.
Yes.
Kids like to eat.
Yeah. Free food draws them all the time. Although interestingly enough, we did this pancake outreach, and we did giving away free pancakes. We did it at Northeast State, Blountville. It was wildly successful.
Who doesn't like free pancakes?
That's what we thought. So
it worked.
So we translate. Does that translate to ETSU? Of course.
Well,
so
of course.
We set up a table, give away more pancakes. We bring more batter. No pancakes. We don't know what happened at ETSU.
Like the ETSU people don't like pancakes.
I guess. Maybe
I don't know that we can say that's a blanket statement.
No, we can't say that because I love pancakes on ETSU. But usually free.
Maybe we should try it again.
Maybe we will. Yes.
You think?
Yes.
Was it last year? Like when?
No, it was.
When there were just more squirrels than students, is what Dr. Nolan said.
We didn't even get them to squirrels.
Oh, you should have. Yeah, they like pancakes.
2019, I think, when we tried that. So it was definitely pre-pandemic.
This fall,
but this fall we're bringing back the pancakes as soon as we can do food.
Yeah, I got a griddle. I'll come make pancakes.
All right. Okay.
Let's do
that sounds great.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. So we draw students, like you said, free stuff draws them in, and we talk to them about assuming that if they're a Christian or looking for something to be more involved in, we try to figure out how to disciple them one-on-one or in a small group. A lot of students, particularly students that we've met at these outreaches, they say, well, I don't really want to be involved in your thing because I'm not a Christian. And we can engage them just about relational ministry. We just talk to them about Jesus and their life, and just really on life, investing in their life, whether they want to believe in the same way that we do or not. We don't care. We just want to hang out with them.
Sure.
So it's outreach, discipleship, and we're trying to really draw student-led ministry, because I am pretty fun, but I'm also in my 50s. So there is a theme that students might learn more from people their age necessarily than,
I don't know,
an old lady.
Wisdom. There's a lot of wisdom there. So tell me a little bit about you. I'm just going to go back a little bit.
Yeah.
And so you'd said you felt like the Lord was calling you from Young Life into a new role. For people who maybe don't have a relationship with Jesus, what does that sound like? Like, I mean, because I think people go, oh, did you hear an audible call? Yeah. Did you, and it probably wasn't like, he probably wrote you a letter or something.
Yeah. Maybe in the Bible, a letter. No, for me, and yes, some people have had audible calls. I've never had an audible call from the Lord that said, go here, do that. But for me, particularly, I was reading some books. One was Mark Batterson, kind of calling you out of where you are and where you're going, kind of thing.
I like his stuff.
Yeah, he's good. And I also had several students along the Young Life train, when I was doing Young Life, that would go to ETSU or somewhere else, and they would try to get involved. They had a profound experience in Young Life, and they would try to get involved in Young Life there. Excuse me. And at the time, there was not really a place if they didn't want to do leadership for that. I think that's changed now with Life. But so if they didn't feel called to minister to high school kids, they kind of got lost. And if they didn't, then there's a lot of other great campus ministries at ETSU, for example. But if they didn't get a fit, they
Mhm.
sort of just got lost in the shuffle
Mhm.
in college.
Mhm.
So I feel like that was one of the calls that I felt like was someone needs to go fill the gap in
Mhm.
for students that just, there needs to be another option.
Sure.
So that's really what my call was like. It was just
Mhm.
like seeing time and again these students that I would minister to in high school, and they were just walking with the Lord and then just fell away for whatever reason.
What percentage of students do you think, or do you have statistics on that are Christians?
I don't really, that's a great question because I don't know. I think probably defining Christianity, some people,
Right. Okay.
yeah,
So
believe in God, but don't,
right.
but I'm not
Any
really
idea?
sure of the Christian, but the statistic that blew my mind when started thinking about really InterVarsity seriously was 8 out of 10 college age students by the time they're out of college will have fallen away from their church background if they were involved in church. So almost all college,
80%.
80%. Yeah. Some were 70, 90. So it was basically almost every student that might be in college I mean, there's a lot of them find their way back, but a
Yeah.
lot of them don't.
Right.
So,
How do you do college and church, or whatever? How
yes,
do you not let that happen? Is the
right,
goal.
exactly. And as you, I think, are a believer of this too, just talking to you and knowing what think about college ministry, all ministries are important, but
Mm.
that's such a crucial point in your life
Right.
to kind of, and it definitely defined my
Yeah.
trajectory in my college years. And I was a church kid,
Mhm.
who didn't lose my way in the church, but
Mhm.
that's where I really felt like my direction changed for the good
Yeah.
was in college, the college age time. It's just a really crucial time of development.
Well, I think you're finally away from home, right?
Hmm.
You're stepping out. That's a big change. You got to learn how to do your laundry,
Right.
go to the grocery store,
Yep.
do the things that you
Hmm.
haven't had to do. And so, um, there you got a lot of different focuses, and then you've got a lot of other influences because you're on your own. And so you can choose to do good things or choose to do things that aren't good. And
Yes.
so,
And no one's gonna,
yeah.
yeah.
And so I think it's great that you're helping shape kids and continually talking to them and turning them to Jesus,
Hmm.
and saying, you know what, you can have a blast and still hang out with Jesus all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I love that option.
You can ride around in the tracker and
You
still
you
love
can
Jesus.
ride around in the tracker. We can put sunglasses on, crank up the music. We can have a
That's
blast.
right.
So last year was different. This year, hopefully not, from what I'm hearing. We had
Yes.
Dr. Nolan on here a couple weeks ago, and he's looking forward to the fall. Going to be awesome. So, are you planning just full on fall? We're wide open again.
We're hoping. I feel like 2020 was definitely the year that taught us have a plan, a backup, and a backup to the backup.
Yep. And
And,
then change that back up when.
change the
Yeah,
backup.
that's
It's
right.
not just a rain plan, but it's like you got 10 plans. This is what we're hoping to do. This is what we might do.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely, our hope would be that we would be full on outreach to the community at
Mm-hmm.
ETSU, meet more students, have the students that we met last year, because we did meet students in the midst of all that, which was a
Mm-hmm.
miracle, I would say, nothing
Mm-hmm.
short of. But those students who are excited about ministry, bringing their friends, their neighbors in the dorms, wherever they're living. So we definitely have that as our hope
Mm-hmm.
/ plan, with the backup to hanging on to the masks just in case, just in case something
Just in
changes.
case, you
Just
just
in
never
case. That's
know.
right.
You never know. That's fun.
Yes.
Um, well, I hope it is going to be good and normal, and I yeah, I'm praying that you get to minister to lots of kids this fall because
Yes.
that's the goal.
Yes. Our plan, some of my students who maybe listen and they don't even know this, but we're hoping to have 2 or 3 of the students that we got involved last year to actually lead small groups, which most of them haven't seen that structure. But
Hmm.
our way that we grow is small groups, student-led small groups, and then hope to draw a community together, web a community together through those small groups.
Kind of like disciples making disciples.
Something like that. Yeah, I've
That's
heard
weird. Where'd you
that.
come up with that?
I was just made it up.
Yeah, I like it. Well, it's going well. For the last 2,020
That's
years,
right.
it's been
Yes.
going pretty good. But yeah, I hope it explodes. So you guys are just you have like some Bill Gates kind of guy that just funds InterVarsity. It's just fully funded. Is
Just
that how it goes?
stacks on stacks, No,
That's
that's
not the case,
not at
right?
all. Not at
So
all. We
tell listeners how if you guys want to support Lisa, who is just a wonderful person, and InterVarsity, which is a wonderful organization. How do our listeners connect and do that with you? How can they help you?
You can connect with me through my email. It's lisaforbes111@gmail.com. Or get a hold of Colin. He can give you my contact information. We have an Instagram and Facebook, but the way for listeners to get a hold, as far as prayer warriors, we would
Mhm.
love to talk to you about praying and giving and advocating for the ministry.
Mm.
Students, if you want to follow us on Instagram, because I just got Instagram introduced last year, and that's been going better than I expected.
I hear it's taken off.
I know, it's just a thing. It's the
Yeah.
new thing, right?
I
Probably
can't
about
get to it on
6
my
years
flip
old.
phone, but I
Yeah.
hear it's pretty
Right, you
impressive.
hear about it.
Yeah.
It's IV_ETSU is our address there.
IV_ETSU. Okay.
Initial I, initial V. Somebody the other day was looking ivy like the ivy that grows.
Oh yeah, like IVY.
InterVarsity, like
Right. No Y.
IV_. That's right. No Y.
You should grab that one too. Just
No,
in case
no
they're looking.
Y.
There you go.
ETSU.
No. So, where is your? We're going to get back to Johnson City.
Yes.
What's your favorite place to eat in Johnson City? I think I know this,
think
but
you do too.
unless you'll surprise me with
I
somebody
have
new.
several.
Okay, let's go down the list.
Okay, my top number
Number one.
for and I've heard you ask other people what their favorite food is. So I was
Yes.
prepared for this because of the variety at this restaurant and their sweet tea, McAllister's, hands down.
Yes.
That's number one. But the close second is definitely Barbaritos and the
Yes.
Firehouse Barbecue.
Oh man.
So all
Those are good three.
Yes, those are my top three
Yeah.
that I would say. Texas Roadhouse has great steaks.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I love to eat. So,
Well, and you're like, hey, how do I get in front of kids?
That's right.
They want to eat.
Haven't met a restaurant I didn't like.
Hey, that's good. I think I've met one. But definitely not one of your three. We love the Firehouse. We love Barbaritos. Andy Oswald, I'd love to have you on here. I need to get Tom on here too. That'd be good. Okay, those are good things to do.
Yes.
Where's your favorite place to get a cup of coffee?
Well, that's a funny thing because I don't drink coffee, but
that's right.
I do go to coffee shops.
Okay, what's your favorite coffee shop?
Open Doors.
Open Doors. That's a good spot. I'm a big fan.
There's a new one.
Pike
not new anymore.
Place.
Yes, Pike Coffee House. It's awesome. They have really good bagels.
Is that run by the Pike fraternity?
That would be what you would think, but no. I've met the owners. They're great.
They're great.
Can't think of their names right now.
We tried to reach out to them. We'd love to have them on here.
Yeah, I bet they would love to be here.
Okay, well, we'll get them on. Maybe they'll bring coffee.
Maybe they will.
If you had to choose your favorite donut in the area,
the 1 pounder Annie Ruth.
Annie Ruth. Yeah. This is
but if
just a real
it's
goodness-filled donut. It's so full of goodness and it weighs a ton.
It can't be calories because it's all goodness.
No, Annie Ruth, and you got to get that at the farmers market, or you can go out to Telford.
Right, you can chase them.
And they built a building out there in front of is it Traders? What's the name of the place out there?
I don't know this.
Yes, so there is a Amish marketplace out in Telford, and the name is escaping me. Sorry. But anyway, it's out there, and there's a whole donut place. It's just on the right as you go down 11E towards Greenville.
If now the day-to-day donut, I would definitely go for Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme,
just because
day-to-day,
sort of what I grew up with,
right?
Right. It's the thing, and then they
remember
were
when it used to it took over the putt place.
Yes, that's right. That?
Yeah,
it was hopping.
It was hopping, and then Honda Johnson City took it over there. So, man, it's just everything's changing.
Everything's changed. I know.
All right, one more. What you said, the people of Johnson City are what you love, and the feel. What else is awesome about Johnson City in your mind?
I think that the weather is great. I love the beach, but I can't live at the beach right now. So the closest, it's a pretty good distance to the beach.
Right.
But, you can get there and
we were there in 6 hours last.
Yeah.
A couple weekends.
Exactly.
Ago. Yeah.
So I think we made it in 5 the last time I was.
Well, the tracker goes a little faster.
Right. The tracker. Well, it doesn't have a speedometer that works, so. It doesn't
like
matter
my
how fast
I've got truck with no gas meter. Like, I don't know. I
Right.
just put gas in it all the time because I'm afraid I'm going to run out.
Yeah.
I love that it doesn't have it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Officer, I didn't know how
I-
fast I was going.
it says I'm going 35 right now. So, and I'm sitting still.
Your gun is obviously wrong.
That's what I'll tell him. Actually, the flip side's true. I couldn't get fast enough to get pulled over for speeding because it doesn't run that fast anymore. But it
doesn't.
tracks.
Downhill.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And it's
but
downhill to the beach once you
Yeah.
get over the mountain.
The 4 seasons is what I love in
Yes.
Johnson City. I
Yeah.
love the fact that we have 4 seasons sometimes in one day. So summer, spring, winter, fall. you know?
Yes. Yesterday it was kind of cold.
Yeah.
46 degrees when you get up. It
Yep.
was 75 by the afternoon.
Get
Sunny.
a sunburn and then get cold again.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just
Cover your plants for the frost.
it is just an awesome place to live.
Yes.
It keeps it interesting for sure. And
For
wonderful
sure.
people like you keep it interesting as well. And so,
Well, I appreciate you and Carly so much too, Colin,
Well,
because
we
all the
really-
things that you do, and I didn't even know about this till a couple of weeks ago, but just all the things that y'all have your hands in a positive way. I mean that very positively. It's just so great. And I feel like you're trying to further the greatness of Johnson City by all the things that y'all are connected to.
yeah, thank you for that. Thank you. We're trying to just give our lives away like you do. We just do it a little differently, I guess.
Right.
And so, but if you want to get involved with Lisa, she would love to chat with you.
Absolutely.
And like you said, just be a prayer warrior, if nothing else. But connect with her. Your life is going to be better by meeting her and hanging out with her. And we can pray that InterVarsity is just going to explode this fall when kids get back to campus.
Yes,
and
can't
so
wait.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited to make pancakes. And so I'm thanking you guys for listening today. Anything else before you want to sign off? You want to say, hey?
Yeah, one just little shout out for speaking of InterVarsity events. Next Friday, June the 11th, we have our 4th annual bowling tournament planned.
The bowling tournament.
It is something to see.
I think you beat me a few years ago when I was there, and I don't know that I can come back.
Well, it's okay.
Show my face.
Because we only have, by our calculations, 1 or 2 lanes open right now still to
That's
reserve.
great.
So I know, what a great problem to have.
Yes.
So if you want to take that,
so you guys take over.
if you want to, we take over Holiday Lanes
And you
we
show
make
them
a
how
bunch
it's
of
done.
money.
Yeah.
We have a blast.
It was a lot of fun, for sure.
The more terrible you are at bowling, the better chances you have to win prizes.
Will they put those rails up for me?
They will.
Okay.
They sure will. So
I like the kiddie rails.
So come
I
on.
can't get in the gutter.
Right. If you want to take those last couple of lanes, we're looking for the funnest people to.
The funnest.
Funnest?
The most funnest.
Yeah.
I like it. If you're a most funnest person.
If you're the most funnest person, please get in touch with me and take those lanes.
Come on, let's go. Get out there and bowl.
That's right.
Cool.
Yes.
Well, I hope that event goes wonderfully.
Yes.
And again, I hope that your ministry is just blessed and that you continue to do what you do, and you do it so well.
We appreciate you so much.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. If you need to buy a home or sell a home or invest in real estate, please call me. My name's Colin Johnson with the Colin and Carly Group. And we'd love to help you and love to meet you. And so, have a great day.